the clink of crystal glasses, laughter that didn't quite reach me. Sunlight poured through the floor-to-ceiling windows of the Wright Estates Ocean View Lounge. I was seated at the far end of the marble table, out of the golden spotlight, but well within the cold glare of my mother-in-law, Veronica Wright. She raised her champagne flute with all the pageantry of a Roman empress. "To family," she said, her voice honeyed and hollow, "and to our much-needed escape next week at Ocean Terrace." Her manicured fingers hovered over a pristine list printed on ivory cardstock. Names, one by one. Cousins, in-laws, her precious daughter, Tanisha, of course. Not mine. I didn't flinch. Not yet. I waited for Darian, my husband, to notice, to interrupt. He didn't. Veronica's gaze found me. "Belinda," she said sweetly. "Darling, I assumed you'd understand. The beach house, it's not exactly built for, shall we say, beginners." Tanisha smirked, swirling her mimosa. "You hated the yacht club, remember? This one's even more exclusive. No espresso machines or barista aprons allowed." My cheeks flushed. My heartbeat thudded like a bass line under their laughter. "I'll stay," I said, forcing a smile. "You all should go." Darian reached for my hand. Too late. Too soft. I stood before they could pity me more. The view beyond the windows blurred. Sea, sky, and beneath it their empire, built on inheritance, bloodlines, and the belief that anyone outside it was a threat. On the way out, I passed Veronica. Her perfume hit like a wall. She didn't move. "Some people learn their place, Belinda," she whispered. "Others get reminded." I walked faster. My heels echoed on the polished floors like gunshots. Back home, I changed into jeans and a hoodie, locked the bedroom, opened my laptop. A folder sat buried beneath layers of encryption. Ocean Terrace acquisition. 6 months ago, they mocked me. Again, I'd heard whispers of Veronica's plans to renovate the family beach house. I'd traced the deed, found the original owner drowning in debt, and I'd bought it, quietly, legally, entirely in my name. Through shell companies, I buried the paper trail so deep not even the Wrights could find it. I let them book their vacation, let them believe, because sometimes the best revenge isn't loud. It's silent until it detonates. I checked my inbox. Carmen Delgado already. Guest list unchanged. Ownership file confirmed. I stared at the glowing screen. "To a future we can't escape," I whispered. And then I smiled. "They think they own the sand beneath their feet. Let's see how they walk when it's mine." Night bled into the walls of our house like spilled ink. I sat in the dark, the only light coming from my laptop screen. Ocean Terrace acquisition. Status verified. Ownership Belinda Hart. I pressed my finger against the biometric scanner. The folder unlocked with a muted beep. Inside were deeds, shell contracts, correspondence, every legal step I'd taken, invisible to the Wright family. You don't scream when you're underestimated. You take notes. Then you take their house. Outside, the wind picked up. A palm tree scraped against the window like fingernails. I shut the curtain. I opened a live map, an overlay of the beach house's internal system. Carmen had updated the surveillance. 12 cameras, motion triggered, all feeds secured. A message pinged. "Carmen D. Guest arrival confirmed. All requests in place. Ownership visible to management. You're still ghosted on guest registry. Want that changed?" I typed fast. "B. No. Let them walk in blind. Carmen D. Then let the sand burn." I paused. Fingers over the keys. Some people weaponize wealth. Others weaponize silence. I switched tabs. Another message waited, encrypted. From Elias. "Elias R. Title cleared. Transfer airtight. Verified by 2 escrow agents. If they try anything dirty, it won't hold. Want extra eyes on site?" I hesitated, then typed. "B. Stay close. Remote for now. If anything feels off, call me. Nu, varn me first. Call second." Cut scene. Downstairs. I heard the click of the front door. Darian's car. I didn't move. He came in quietly, loosened his tie, poured himself bourbon without asking. 2 fingers. Neat. You were quiet back there, he said. I stared at the screen. I was listening. You didn't have to let her do that. Didn't I? My voice was calm. She just said it out loud this time. He didn't answer. Sometimes silence is a confession. Sometimes it's a shield. I shut the laptop. Darian leaned against the wall. We can cancel, not go. You're still on the list, I said. They expect you. His jaw tightened. If I go, he said, I go alone. I stood, walked past him. As I passed, I said it without looking at him. Every kingdom falls the second its queen stops pretending to smile. Cut scene. Later that night, I pulled the box from the closet, hidden beneath old scarves. The burner phone still worked. I dialed. 3 rings. Then, Ms. Hart, Carmen answered, her voice low. We've completed the modifications. The guest logs? I asked. Still intact. They won't know until arrival that the villa is locked. Good. Security. I want all staff briefed. Nobody deviates from protocol. Nobody answers questions from Veronica Wright. Not even if she offers them a yacht. Carmen laughed softly. Understood. One more thing. What? There's been some chatter. I stilled. Define chatter. A junior concierge reported someone tried accessing back-end files at the resort system yesterday. Tried to override reservation tiers. I traced the attempt. Came from a device tied to a Florida law firm. Veronica's legal team. Of course. I pinched the bridge of my nose. You secure the logs? Twice. Physical backup in vault. The real owner, you, is now listed in the system metadata. Hidden but embedded. It would take a court order to reverse that now. That won't stop her. No, Carmen said. But now she'll be trespassing in her own illusion. I hung up. Cut scene. I stood in the hallway. Lights off. Listening. Somewhere outside, a car rolled by slow. Too slow. I moved to the window. Pulled the curtain back a sliver. Empty street. Still. A flash of white. A flyer? No. Envelope. Left at the gate. I grabbed a flashlight. Slipped on sneakers. Stepped into the cold. The night smelled like damp concrete and citrus trees. I picked up the envelope. No name. Just my address, written in a fast, sharp hand. Inside, 2 things. A photo, grainy black and white, of the ocean terrace beach house. And a note. You think it's yours, but it's always been borrowed. Don't get too comfortable. My breath fogged the air. I turned slowly. Scanned every yard. Every rooftop. No one. Just the sound of sprinklers ticking to life. I walked back inside. Locked every door. Every window. Then I burned the envelope in the sink. They were watching. Let them. Let them pack their silk swimsuits. They're walking into my trap. The sky over Key Largo burned blue and white. A private jet sliced across it, glinting like a blade. From the villa's control center, I watched the security feed flicker into life. Camera 1, arrival pad. The Wrights had landed. Carmen's voice crackled over the intercom. ETA, 5 minutes. Staff briefed. Screens ready. Copy, I said. She hesitated. You sure about this? I didn't blink. Let's begin. Cut scene. They came in waves. Veronica stepped out first, draped in linen and pearls, her sunglasses impossibly large. Tanisha followed, designer tote swinging off one shoulder, already live streaming. Cousins, uncles, and 2 loud nephews trickled behind, vacation mode smug. They didn't notice the difference. Not yet. Carmen greeted them in full resort protocol, her tone perfect, polite, slightly formal. Welcome to Ocean Terrace. Veronica barely acknowledged her. The presidential villa's been prepped, I assume? About that, Carmen said, glancing at her tablet. There's been a change in accommodations. Tanisha laughed. We booked the whole damn island. What change? The presidential villa is currently in use by the property owner. Silence. Veronica's chin lifted. I am the property owner. Carmen smiled just enough. Not anymore. Cut scene. They followed Carmen to the open-air pavilion. Wind curled through the curtains. The screen in front of them was already glowing. Static. Then me. I stood on screen in all white. Simple. Clean. Powerful. Hello, right family, I said. Welcome to my home. Gasps. Someone dropped their luggage. Veronica stiffened. What the hell is this? Tanisha stepped back, phone still recording. I imagine you're surprised, I continued. That's the thing about inheritance. It makes you blind to ownership. Darian's face changed. He knew. He just hadn't expected this. I kept going. You all excluded me, laughed, mocked, and you never once asked what I was building while you were dismissing me. The screen shifted, documents, deeds, legal transfers, flashing too fast for them to screenshot. All with my name. I bought this property 6 months ago, I said. In full. Quietly. Legally. And as of this moment, you're my guests. Not owners. Someone cursed under their breath. Veronica's voice broke the silence. This is a joke. No, I said. It's a lesson. Cut scene. They didn't know where to go. Their private retreat had become a trap with monogrammed towels. Carmen calmly reassigned rooms. Veronica, standard villa. Tanisha, shared guest quarters. Darian didn't move. I'm staying with her, he said. Veronica spun. You're choosing her over your family? She is my family. The words hung like smoke. Carmen handed Veronica a paper schedule. You'll be reporting to the beach bar at 10 a.m. for your first shift. Veronica froze. I beg your pardon. All guests contribute here. It's our new immersive hospitality experience. Tanisha threw her bag. You can't be serious. I stepped into view, then, watching from the second-floor balcony. People say work builds character. Let's test that theory. Veronica's eyes locked with mine. Cold. Calculating. But behind the rage, something else. Fear. Cut scene. I returned to my private suite. Logged into the system. Watched as they wandered the property like ghosts. Not one of them looked up at the cameras. Then, ping. A message. Unknown number. Ownership is a paper crown. Be careful how hard you wear it. I stared at it. Not Carmen. Not Elias. Another ping. Attachment, image file. I opened it. A photo of me, standing in this room. Taken from behind. I hadn't heard the shutter. Hadn't felt the presence. I froze. Closed the laptop. Turned. The door was shut. But something had shifted. The curtain. Just slightly. Someone had been inside. I wasn't alone. You're not my guests. You're my lesson. Morning light hit the shoreline in hard silver strokes. Waves snapped sharp against the pylons under the deck, like they were warning someone. Maybe all of us. Carmen met me outside the service wing. She held a neatly folded beige uniform in her hands. Ready, she asked. More than she ever was, I said. Cut scene. The Wright family filtered into the lobby with sluggish annoyance. Veronica wore a silk robe and an expression sharp enough to cut through steel. Tanisha clung to her phone. She'd already posted 4 stories complaining about third world service on a first world island. Carmen approached, posture flawless. Mrs. Wright, before breakfast. We'll need you to report to the beach bar. Veronica laughed. Loud, mouth wide. No humor. I don't think you understand who I am. Carmen didn't blink. I understand exactly who you are. And this is part of your stay. She handed Veronica the folded uniform. A name patch gleamed across the chest. Veronica, beach service. Slow motion disbelief. Slow motion horror. Then the cut. Veronica's face snapped to mine across the room. You did this. I stepped forward. Calm. Controlled. I didn't do anything to you that you didn't already do to me. I remembered something I once read, a line that clung to me like a bruise. Power is just fear wearing diamonds. It fit her perfectly. Her knuckles whitened. I won't forget this. You're not meant to forget it. Cut scene. The training began, and I watched, from above, through the surveillance feeds. Camera 3. Veronica struggling to balance a tray of 4 cocktails. Camera 6. A guest asking her for sunscreen. Veronica's lips pressed so tight they nearly disappeared. Camera 9. Tanisha whispering, Mom, just quit. Nobody can make you do this, while secretly recording her meltdown for content. Camera 12. Darian leaning against a cabana pillar, arms crossed, trying to pretend he wasn't part of this, wasn't watching his mother pay for a lifetime of cruelty. My throat tightened, not with guilt, but with clarity. A person only learns when their comfort is taken, Elias once told me. Pain is a better instructor than privilege. Cut scene. But the day took a turn. At noon, Carmen found me in the operations room. There's something you should see. She handed me a thin envelope. No return address. Same sharp handwriting as before. My stomach dropped. Inside was a contract. A forged contract. My ownership signature replaced with a shaky imitation. The date altered. The notary section smudged. Someone had tried to erase me. My pulse spiked. Where did this come from? Left on the staff bench, Carmen said, her voice barely above a whisper. During Veronica's shift. Who delivered it? No one saw. Cameras were disrupted. I swung toward the security monitors. 3 feeds blacked out. Exactly 15 minutes of missing footage. Too precise to be random. Too sloppy to be professional. A distraction. A reveal. A threat. Cut scene. I stormed toward the beach bar, sand kicking behind me. Veronica stood at the counter, wearing the uniform like it was dipped in poison. She saw me approaching and straightened. What now? I held the forged contract up. Recognize this? Her eyes flashed, then cooled. Your paranoia is exhausting. Someone is trying to reverse my title, I said. Someone who knows real estate law. Someone who knows this house. Maybe you should ask your husband, she snapped. He knows more than you think. The sentence hit like a rip current. Fast. Hard. Pulling down. You're lying, I said. She smirked. Am I? A tray slipped from her shaking hand, crashing into the sand. Cut scene. Back inside the villa, I called Elias. He picked up on the first ring. Tell me you're safe. No, I said. Not even close. I told him everything. The forged contract. The missing footage. The handwriting match. He swore under his breath. Belinda, if someone's attempting title fraud at this level, they need access to transactional databases. That's not a casual threat. That's a felony. Can it hold up in court? If they produce the fake before you produce the real records? Possibly. But you still hold the notarized originals. And the escrow documents. They can't replace those without inside help. Inside help. The words lodged in my chest like splinters. Darian. He'd been quiet. Detached. Almost rehearsed. And last night I noticed something. He'd changed the passcode on his phone. A small detail. But my gut reacted before my brain. Elias, I whispered. Someone was inside my room today. A beat. You need to be careful. People hide their desperation until it leaks. He was right. Every threat is calm until it breaks its teeth. Cut scene. I walked the halls alone, past glass walls glowing with sunset. Something in the reflection caught my eye. A shadow. Behind me. Ispun. Nothing. Just the empty hallway, still and gold. But my pulse was already sprinting. The air felt wrong, thick, expectant. The kind of stillness that comes before a storm. My hand trembled as I reached for the doorknob to my suite. Inside, the curtain moved. Just slightly. A whisper of motion. Someone had been here again. Someone who wasn't hiding anymore. Someone who wanted me to know. Someone's still playing this game. And they want my name erased for good. Rain pounded the windows of Ocean Terrace, like someone hammering a warning into wood. The sky was slate gray. Inside, the villa was dark, except for the glow of my laptop screen. I clicked open the attachment in the anonymous message. A forged sales contract. My name, replaced with a scratchy forgery. The date altered. Notary stamp blurred. My breath hitched. I slammed the document closed. I needed help. Fast. I dialed Elias. First ring. Second ring. Belinda, talk to me. His voice was tight. I told him everything. The contract. The blackout on security cameras during Veronica's shift at the bar. The wooden strut out by the beach. The footsteps I heard just minutes ago near my suite. Silence. Then, this is serious. If someone's trying to rewrite history, they need access, internal access. Logs. Backups. Metadata. I'm initiating audit search. Don't move. Cut scene. Downstairs, wind lashed palms like punishers. Darian hovered near the bar, watching staff reset tables. He caught my eyes. Belinda, what's happening? His concern flickered through dim lights. Stay calm, I said. I'm cleaning up a mess someone else made. He nodded, uncertainty heavy on his face. I turned away, footsteps echoing on tile, my heart beating a warning rhythm. Outside, a jagged clap of thunder. The family retreat assembled under canvas. A few sparrows fled as branches scraped the roof in protest. Suddenly, a power surge. Lights flickered. The door to the staff-only archive room clicked open. I froze. Moments earlier, I'd sealed it tight. I walked toward it, my pulse inside my ears. Inside, the metal lock half open. Doorframe askew. Footprints in dust on the threshold. Not mine. Cut scene. I raised my phone. Carmen answered. They tried to break in the archive, she whispered. Records are still encrypted, but someone had physical clearance. Someone high level. Who? I demanded. She was silent. Then, the credentials trace back to a Florida law firm your mother-in-law's used for years. My blood cooled. Inside help. I clenched my jaw. You're trying to steal the sand under my feet, I muttered. But I buried the map long ago. Cut scene. Lightning crackled above. I paced the hallway of the villa, the kind of pacing that carves out patience. Every shadow was a watcher. Every creak a ghost. Darian came in, clutching a phone, his face pale. There's been a leak, he whispered. They know about the judge's file, the one Vanessa Wright tried to suppress before the transfer. I stopped. He dropped the phone. Court documents. Exposure of offshore accounts, laundering schemes, names redacted. Tanisha, Veronica, their trusted fixer. A slow tension stretched between us. So they're dirty, Darian said. But if this comes out, their name's mud. I flashed a small, bitter smile. Then they'll swim with it. Cut scene. That night, I crouched under the villa's balcony, fingers on cold sand. Waves crashed in rhythm. Code words for the crawl of guilt beneath bloodlines. I held the original, notarized deed in my hand. Gleaming paper. Ironclad chain of title. But in my pocket, the forged contract and the image from the anonymous message, me. Alone. Taken from behind. The suite door standing quietly closed. I looked up. The house lights flickered. Shadows slid across windows. Someone was watching, and I was running out of time. Cut scene. In the darkness, I whispered aloud. Every empire built on bones collapses when the bones speak. My phone buzzed. New unknown number. I opened the message. Final warning, step off. Or drown. I closed the phone. Rain fell heavier now, mixing with salt from the sea. The wind moaned like mourning. I stood. I walked inside, and I made a decision. They had played reruns of my life, edited, falsified, framed. Tomorrow I'd hit rewind and press record. The dawn came slow. Orange light sliced through slats of plantation shutters. I stood at the window, watching waves wash away footprints in the sand. Clean slate, but nothing here was clean anymore. My phone rang. Elias, his voice urgent. We're good. Prosecutor got the request. FBI, federal asset forfeiture. They'll move tonight. I exhaled. The tension in my lungs released like air from a balloon. Cut scene. In the main villa living room, the Wright family gathered for what they thought was a farewell brunch. Table decked in white linen, silver cutlery, sunlit glasses. Perfume. Power. But nothing felt luxurious anymore. I pressed play on the tablet. The screen flared. First, the original title deed, with notarized signatures, escrow confirmations, chain of custody logs. My name. Sealed. Unbreakable. Then emails, bank transfers, undisclosed offshore accounts. The fixer, the forged contract, internal logs from the law firm verifying the alteration attempts, federal statutes, felony clauses highlighted, title fraud, money laundering, conspiracy. The room fell silent. Veronica's eyes flickered over all the data. Tanisha gasped. Cousins shuffled. Darian and I locked eyes. I stood up. Light glinted off the tablet screen across my face. You tried to rewrite history, burn what you wished forgotten. Cut scene. Veronica stood first. Her silk blouse swallowed the pale morning light. She surveyed the evidence, face slack. Then, her voice raw. You can't. This is my family. Family doesn't come with forged papers, I said. My voice calm. Cold. It comes with truth. She tried to speak again. No one listened, because sirens sounded beyond the glass doors, echoed by a deep bass drum, law enforcement steps. Cut scene. Tanisha's phone dropped. Video still rolling. Her eyes wide, not with surprise, but panic. You're under investigation. Every asset is frozen, and every name in that ledger is under scrutiny. Elias's voice crackled from the tablet. You forwarded, I revealed. Her face drained. She looked at her mother. Her mother looked at me. Cut scene. I closed the tablet, slid the deed into my bag. The rest stayed on the screen. Public record now. Outside, police cars parked along the driveway. Blue lights flickered across palm fronds. The beach smelled like low tide and salt. The air tasted like justice. Darian came to me. Hushed. I believed I was protecting them, he said, voice thick. I was wrong. I nodded. Privilege isn't protection. It's a trap if you don't clean your own house. He took my hand. Solid. Warm. Cut scene. Weeks later, Ocean Terrace reopened. New staff. New signage. Transparent. Ethical. The beach house no longer whispered secrets. It welcomed honesty. I stood by the bar at dusk. Brunettes and blondes, sun-kissed and uniformed. I poured drinks. Not for show. For balance. A guest tilted her head, watching me. Do you own this place? She asked softly. I nodded. Yes. She smiled. To a future we can't escape. Cut scene. That night I sat on the balcony. The moon's reflection shimmered on the waves. I closed my eyes, breathing in salt and wind. I remembered something someone once said. True wealth is how many souls you carry with you, not how many zeros are on your bank account. I understood it finally. because owning a house meant nothing if no one were owning it with you. I opened my eyes. Across the water, a shape paused just beyond the breakers, a figure watching from the darkness, silent, still, unseen. I exhaled slowly. The wind carried her silhouette away. Justice was served, lies exposed. But in the world built on sand, vigilance was the only way to keep ground beneath your feet. I locked the door. The waves moved on, and so did I.